Hi, this is Marla Ryan with HR Decision. And to remind you what we're going to be building today, here is a sample. We're going to have active count, active tenure, etc. We're going to have active count by department. And when we hook everything up, we will be able to instantly see the broken down demographics of each of our selections. So let's get started, and we're going to get started with a blank Power BI. So we are just going to get new, and we're going to be importing all of our formatted Excel sheets that we did in the last tutorial. Okay, and when we start, we'll go to Get Data. And it's going to prompt us through the process of what data we want. We're going to select Excel. We're going to select Connect. And then we're going to start with uploading our formatted data. And so we're doing apples to apples. We saved all of our formatted sheets to the foundational formatted folder and from our last tutorial. And so then I'm going to start with actually the employee hire and term dates Excel sheet. We're going to hit open. And when we do, we see that there are two to choose from. You're going to select the one that we labeled, and this is the tab. So underneath you have your top columns, the EEID, the hire date, and the term date. And do you remember at the Excel at the bottom there was a tab, and that's why we named that. This is what the tab pulls in. So we hit load. Okay, and now it has loaded in our sheet. And we're going to use that as the basic foundational building block. And then when you click on this icon, it says model, we have the foundational building block of employee hire and term dates. So we have the key identifier for the employee ID, we have the hire date, and we have the term date. And from this, we're going to extract a lot of surprisingly good information that makes you building all of your dashboards a lot easier. And we're going to go save as, because we don't want to lose any of our data. And we're going to save it to the foundational formatted folder just for ease of use. But usually I save my Power BI files in a separate folder just for the Power BI files. And we're going to call it foundational headcount. Okay. Okay, so we have our employee hire and term dates. From here, we need to create a calendar for Power BI to match up all the hire dates to and the term dates. It just anchors it to the previous calendars of over the years, so then it can do time intelligence analysis. So in order to do that, you're going to click on Modeling, New Table, and then from here, where it says Table, we're going to call it Dim Date. We're going to keep the equal sign, and we're going to type in Calendar, Auto Calendar, and then close the parentheses and hit Enter. So this created a dim date calendar of all of the dates. It took the lowest the minimum date it could find and the most recent date it could find out of all of these dates. And when we go and look at it, it started way back, or it started, way back from 2010 at the beginning of the year. And you can see how it goes in sequence. And again, this is just our dim date calendar, and it helps to match up every single date in order to do time analysis. If you don't have this dim date calendar made, Power BI doesn't really know what to do with those dates. It knows it's a date, but it doesn't have a reference point. So all you're doing is creating an anchor for it. That's all. So with that, we want to keep in this dim date area, which is called the data area. And here's the reporting area, which we will build all of our interactive tables and dashboards. Here's the data area. So when we select these individual items over here from the tabs that we created, we can actually see within those sheets. And then we could see the back anchor part. So we could see here's our dim date that we created and our employee hire term dates. And every time we import an Excel sheet, we're going to have to go in the back end, in the model, and make sure they're connected properly. And we'll get to that shortly. So let's go back to the dim date area. We want to format this a little bit more nicely. We highlight this in the data area, so we highlight the whole column, and then we go up to column tools, and then we highlight it, and we actually want to select the month, day, day, and then year, year. That's going to get rid of that time. Okay, our next step is we want to create a column just for the year alone. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to go to Table and Tools, and we're going to go New Column. And we're going to call it Year equals year, and then we're going to select dim date, date, and then close parentheses and hit enter. And that has gone down, and everywhere it says 2010, it will put 2010 just in this column, and etc. It'll keep going down until you've reached the very end date, in which I've ended our example database for 2019. So we have exactly what we want, and now we're going to keep going. Okay, the next thing we want to do is now we want to make the month name. We're going to go New Column. Okay, and this we want to say that it is, we're going to create a new column. Month name. Okay, and here we want to go dim date, date, and then we want to do it'll go period, month, close. Oops, sorry, not a close. I did say that we're going to be correcting our errors together, didn't I? So that was one. Sometimes you have parentheses, sometimes you don't, but most of the time you will, but in this case you don't. So we have the date, we have the year, and we have the month name. So you can see that this is January, and it matches up with the January month, and now a January of this year. And then over here in the dim date area, you can see dim date, we have the date, which is here. We have the month name, which is this column, and then we have the year, which is that column. And it looks like it puts it in alphabetical order, so it doesn't seem to match this order, so that's okay. So let's carry on. The next one we want to do is the month number. We're going to select new column again, and we will say month, and you could say month number. I like to say month number, or you could just say month, but you type in dim date and then the month number, which gives you the corresponding month number. We hit enter, and then we have the month number. So January is the first month of the year. It's going to put that number in this column, this row. And you can see that there's 12. Okay, now this is really, really important. We want to select month name. We want to go to column tools. And we want to hit sort by column. So we're selecting the month name, but we want to sort by the month number. So we're telling the month name to always use the month number column to sort. And this is important because if you don't do this step right here, when you build your date dashboards using months, it won't put it in January, February, March, April, May. It won't put it in that type of order. It'll put it in the order of alphabetical. So this forces it to use the January, February, March, April sequence that everybody expects to see. So this one is a really, really important. And then the next one is we're going to put in quarters. So we type in quarter equals, do you know what this is going to be? It's going to be dim date, which we're selecting, just pull in the dim date. So select a date here, and then serve me up the quarter number and hit enter. And then that's it. And then there's 4 quarters throughout the year, and we have 4. So we have exactly what we want. And again, here's the date, year, month name, month number, and then quarter. And what did we do that was really, really important? We sorted the month name by the month number, and that's going to help you sequence your data calendar in your dashboards. Okay, so let's save. This is a good time to save. So we imported our employee hire and term dates. We haven't done anything with it yet because we needed to create our dim date. And our dim date really pulls in all of the dates from this employee hire and term date section. So it's pulling in all of the relevant dates that you have determined from your report, and now we're attaching it to a dim date calendar. To make it easy, usually there's only one dim date calendar, but to make my world a lot easier and to get a better grasp on Power BI, I create another one and I call it dim date term, and we're going to do that now.